And welcome in, everybody. Vasu Vada Party, Charlie O here. This is the Make the Money and Run podcast, the Friday baseball show, coming to you 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 on the West Coast. After a night of baseball that took place in Los Angeles, the Dodgers staved off elimination 11-2 over Atlanta. They extend the series to Game 6. They get out of the bullpen. They get out of the bullpen scenario now. They get Max Scherzer to go tomorrow night against Ian Anderson, a matchup of Game 2s from last Sunday night. The Dodgers down 3-2 in the series. Hey, methinks this is a familiar position from last year, down 3-1 to Atlanta. The only difference is there's travel in between. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks to everybody on Facebook Live and YouTube Live for joining us, as well as Twitter. Now we're on Twitter Live as well, too. Sponsored by the Britannia Arms of Cupertino. Check them out at BritanniaArmsDeanza.com, celebrating 40 years. The best British pub and food, BritanniaArmsDeanza.com, 408-252-7262. Don't forget, every day on social media, we'll have our social media selections for each day during the week by 6 Eastern on Twitter and Instagram and on Facebook as well, too. And then on the weekends, 11 a.m. Eastern for College Football Saturday, noon Eastern on Sunday for NFL. We do it 3 times a day on Saturday and twice on Sunday. All right, Charlie, here we are, the Friday baseball show. It has been an interesting October, for that matter. How about that? What are we doing here?
Boom.
Chris Taylor, where have you gone? Babe Ruth in your body last night, apparently. 3 bombs for Chris Taylor last night. The bullpen pitched okay. Joe Kelly gave up the 2 runs in the first inning. Didn't deter the Dodgers at all. They came back and took the 3-2 lead. I believe it was in the second or third inning when they got the lead. I got to look at the box score again, but they took the 3-2 lead, and from then on, it was all L.A. The rest of the night, I don't even know who got the win. I don't have the box score in front of me, but Joe Kelly did come in and start. He's available for tomorrow night. They have a day off today. They fly to Atlanta for Game 6, as we said. Max Scherzer, Ian Anderson goes for the Atlanta Braves. The Braves had the 2 walk-offs last weekend, so they were close games in Atlanta, and they weren't very close in Los Angeles. What are we looking for this weekend, Charlie O? Game 6 and possibly Game 7, Saturday and Sunday.
By the way, Phillips got the win. First of all, Vasu, I was watching the highlights this morning, and I thought about the fact, did you ever think in your wildest imagination that you would see a bullpen game in a division series or in a championship series like this between 2 teams that are fighting to get into the World Series?
Well, what year is this?
This was just crazy.
I know. Well, this is 2021, so yes, I expect it now.
But I mean, how many pitchers last night? Let's see.
At least 7.
There was 4 for Atlanta, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 pitchers last night in that game. I mean, welcome to 2021. I mean, this is insanity. Interesting, but insanity. It's just crazy to see how this goes. And I think in some ways it reflects what you see on the scoreboard. In a bullpen game, whoever can lock it down is going to make it happen. Now, when you put 7 pitchers out there and they hold the other team to 2 runs, that's pretty phenomenal. When you think about it, that you can put that many guys together. But it was wild. It was absolutely wild. Chris Taylor, 3 bombs last night. Nobody predicted that. If you had money on Chris Taylor to hit 3 home runs, thank you very much. You deserve your $1 million or whatever you got. Nobody won that.
By the way, AJ Pollock hit 2 last night too, so
yes.
Don't forget about him.
Yes.
So that's 5 home runs from part-time outfielders who have been injured or strike out a lot. Chris Taylor's been everything for that team. And I think the move to third base definitely eased the pain of not having Justin Turner in the lineup, because he's not going to be available probably for the rest of this series, and more than likely not the World Series, the way he grabbed that hamstring the other night.
I don't think he's going to, if they make it into the World Series, he's not going to be back. They've been pretty clear about that. So I don't think he's going to be back. But, they made a huge statement last night about the fact that we're not going away. So the problem for the Dodgers is, again, they're in an elimination game coming up. So it's always, they've been there before. When were they there the last time?
Every series.
St.
Louis, Giants, 2 elimination games against the Giants, 1 against the Cardinals, 1 last night against Atlanta. So 4 at least in this playoff series.
Yes.
Not to
So,
mention the regular season too.
so they're accustomed to being there. And do I see this one going 7? Yeah, I do, because they got Scherzer going. We now know that they've got Scherzer going on Saturday. So I never bet against Scherzer. I mean, if you gotta have somebody in a pressure situation, who else do you want on the mound right now? I mean, there's only one guy. Last night, making the statement win that they made, and then having Scherzer to be able to go on the mound on Saturday, I think the Dodgers have set themselves up to be in the best possible position to put themselves into a deciding Game 7 that they possibly can. Now, I don't want to take anything away from the Braves. The Braves have been nothing but magnificent in their comeback. And Vasu, this has been the story of the playoffs. I mean, usually in the playoffs and in the World Series, we see low scoring games. We don't see these crazy double digit scoring games. Not this year. Everybody, if you're going to win, baby, you better be able to score 10, 12 runs.
No doubt about it.
And it's just the nature of this season. So you better be able to score, and you better be able to hit dingers, because that's what it's all about right now. And from the fan perspective, it's fun.
Yeah, offense.
From an expert position, and from a reporter position, you're going, what is happening?
Just the aesthetics of it. It's not the baseball that we grew up on, but we got to get over the fact that we got to grow. We can't go back by the baseball that we've grown up on.
It's never going back. It's never going back.
Oh, look at Tony Russo here. Tony Russo chiming in. What's up, Charlie O? Looking good, buddy. Nice haircut.
Hey, Tony.
7. Our fearless leader here at Stables Media, Tony Russo, chiming in. All of a sudden, he's come back to the Dodgers, but he didn't believe me when I said about the Padres either, Mr. San Diego down there. But where are they now? They're all watching.
Don't rub his nose in it. Come on.
No, I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that to Tony. I haven't forgotten about you, Tony. I owe you a phone call. Joe Kelly, 2/3 of an inning, 2 earned runs, and then nothing from there. Evan Phillips, 1 1/3. Vesia, 1 inning. Gratterall, 2 innings. He even took an at-bat, for crying out loud. Trent Trinan, 2 innings. And Corey Knebel, 1 inning. And Kenley Jansen, 1 inning to knock it out. The Dodgers were 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They left 8 guys on base. Pollock had 4 RBIs. Taylor had 6, and then Turner had the other one. Cody Bellinger swinging the bat better for the Dodgers, hitting 429 in the postseason now. Chris Taylor at 529 for the series. And then you got Pujols, who started yesterday. He had 2 hits, good for Albert Pujols. Pollock, 3 for 5.
Plus a walk.
3 for 4. 2 for 4 for Pujols, 3 for 5 for A.J. Pollock. Will Smith, the only guy that didn't hit, and he's the guy that's been hitting for them. Trey Turner finally showed up last night too. 3 for 4 for Trey Turner, including a run scored and an RBI. The Braves only had 5 hits, 2 of them by Rosario, who's having a heck of a series, hitting 571 in this series. Freddie Freeman had the 2-run home run. He was 1 for 4. Then everybody else, nothing from that point on. It was Rosario, Albies, Freeman, and then 1 hit by Swanson later in the game after it was over. But it was Fried. Max Fried, 4 2/3, 5 earned runs. Chris Martin gave up a run to close out the 5th inning. And then Lee came in. That's the guy they called up. Lee, 2 innings pitched for him. He gave up a run, the left-hander. And then actually, I don't know who Lee is. They brought him up. They put somebody on the injured list, and Dylan Lee is the guy's name. He came up to pitch 2 innings and gave up a run last night. And Dave Roberts accounted for that left-handed pitcher. And then Jacob Webb gave up the 4 in the bottom of the 8th to put the nail in the coffin. 11-2 is the final score.
You talked about Smith last night not getting a hit, but what he did do in that game last night, first time he's done it in the series, is he threw a runner out at second. And it's not his fault that he hasn't been throwing runners out, because the pitchers that he has do not help him throw runners out with the way they deliver the ball. But last night,
are you talking about Will Smith or Darnell?
Will Smith.
Okay.
He was able to throw a runner out. It was Rosario that he threw out at second. So that was a big play. So last night he didn't do it with the bat. Last night he did it with defense. Also, Pujols last night you know, every time I want to count Pujols out, he just makes a fool out of me. And I love Albert. You know I love him. So I'm just having so much fun watching him. But last night he made a play over at first. He had to charge the ball, and he's not a little man, and he's not nearly. He's much bigger than he used to be.
Yeah.
He made a play where he was falling off balance towards second, and he made this kind of underhand 3/4 throw that he had to really put some mustard on the ball to get it over. And it was a beautiful play. So he not only did it with the bat, walked, but he did it last night with defense. And so, Albert, there you go, baby. For everybody's listening just listening, I bowed 3 times. The guy's just phenomenal.
Vasu Vada Party. Charlie O here with you on the Make the Money and Run podcast, sponsored by Britannia Arms of Cupertino. Check them out for all your NFL, NCAA action on the weekends, and then their weekday specials as well. They'll come to your offices and cater. They will set up your group events. Check them out. Give them a call, 408-252-7262, or get on the web at BritanniaArmsDeanza.com next time you're in Silicon Valley. If you're visiting, check them out. Best British pub and restaurant in Silicon Valley. All right, we move on. Game 6 now as we look ahead to the Game 6 with Max Scherzer and Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson and Max Scherzer. It's 176 for Max Scherzer. Game 6 minus 176 for Scherzer. The total is 8. I have it here somewhere. Oh, it's right here. 176 versus Anderson, 8 the total. Ian Anderson pitched okay. He gave up the 2-run home run to Corey Seager to open the game up on Sunday. The Braves did come back and tie. I believe that was the Sunday game, the Jock Peterson game that tied the game up at 2 before Rosario won it. I want to say yes.
I was still coming down from Alaska on Sunday, so I don't remember much.
Well, they don't have newspapers in Alaska? Oh, they
wrapped. No. I'd gotten back, but I was still.
I got you. No, I believe that's the Jock Peterson game.
What can I tell you?
Yeah, that's all right. No. Jock Peterson 0 for 3 yesterday. He did strike out once. He's at 263 now for the series. Duvall went 0 for 3. Their outfielders. Only Rosario, the one having a good time right now. But Max Scherzer going in. They used 7 guys, knowing this was a bullpen game. Are we going to get more than 5 innings out of Max Scherzer tomorrow? Apparently, he was hurt last time, and he's got a dead arm probably from all the pitches he's thrown all year. But last week, he didn't get the loss last week. I'm trying to think if he's had a loss as a Dodger yet, either as a team loss or a team loss he's had, because they had the game 2 last week. So the team loss, yes, but I don't think he's had a loss on his record since he got traded to the Dodgers. That's a pretty heavy favorite into an elimination game for a road team going into Atlanta. But the Dodgers feel like they're swinging the bats well. Atlanta, we know, is a good hitting park. The Braves play well at home. Ian Anderson had an outstanding 2020 rookie year, and then the postseason, he was just unhittable in the postseason last year, the 2 games against the Reds, and then the 2 games against the Dodgers and the 1 game against the Reds last year where he shut out Trevor Bauer in that 2-game sweep that they had against the Reds in the wild card last year. Same lineups probably going tomorrow. Obviously no Justin Turner, so Bellinger will be in center, or he'll be at first. They'll put Lux in center. Chris Taylor will come to third, and then the rest of the lineup will be the same. Probably A.J. Pollock will be in left again, and Mookie Betts in right. And then you've got the regular infield. From second, third, and short going through with Turner and Seager and Taylor around the infield. And I would assume with the right-hander on the mound, and Ian Anderson, Bellinger will be at first. So that lineup defensively is very good. By the way, Cody Bellinger, if you haven't seen Cody Bellinger play defense, Cody Bellinger is an outstanding defensive player. You got a center fielder playing first base. Did you see the play? And I want to reference this correctly. When he was playing first base the other day and the ball was hit shallow right, and Betts had no chance to get it, and he was just cruising like an outfielder to make the catch over the shoulder, that play to me tells me that definitely improves the defense, because, A, I don't see Matt Beatty doing it. With all due respect to Albert Pujols, I don't see Albert Pujols making that play going to short right field either. But Bellinger was there. The infield was shifted over, so there was no chance for Trey Turner to come over from second base. So Cody Bellinger, yes, he's had a horrible year, 156. They put his numbers up yesterday. 156, I think the on-base percentage was only like 300, and the slugging percentage was like 390. So not a good year for Cody Bellinger, but he has shown up in October, and he's done the job both offensively, defensively. A key steal the other day that got them in the comeback mode along with the 3-run home run to propel them to not go down 0-3 on Tuesday, Charlie. So that's where we're at with the National League. Any final thoughts on the National League before we take a break?
Well, you talked about Scherzer. Can he go longer than 5? And the answer is yes. He is grit. He's old school grit, and he will go and he will fight Dave Roberts to stay on the mound.
He has fought Dave Roberts before on the mound.
He's the kind of guy that will stay out there until the arm dies, because he understands there's no tomorrow. So he doesn't care about Sunday. He doesn't care about the World Series. He cares about tomorrow. So yeah, I think he'll go as deep as he can. I'm not worried about the fact that they did a bullpen game last night. They understand a bullpen game. Those guys pitch out of the bullpen. They're used to pitching a lot of innings with no rest. So that's not an issue. But I think Scherzer's very capable of going 6-7 innings. I really do. He has that kind of knowledge. He knows how to do that. And again, I'm going to overuse this word, but I believe it. He has the grit.
He has the grit. And not only that, I don't want to name the name of the commercial, but he's got max focus, which apparently is a better focus than everything else based on the commercial there too. So that was pretty, I think that's a recruiting commercial that I saw yesterday. So there's a difference between laser focus and max focus. So Max with the 2 different color eyes coming at you. And he's the guy to go tomorrow night.
That's enough to scare you right there.
I know, really. You can't worry about Sunday until you get through Saturday. And Max Scherzer's the guy to get through Saturday. All right. We buried the Houston Astros after Game 3. The Boston Red Sox are now one loss away from being eliminated in Houston tonight. By the way, the Dodgers game 5 o'clock tomorrow in the afternoon on TBS. If there's a Game 7, the Red Sox Astros will go tomorrow night. When we come back in 30 seconds, we will talk about the Red Sox and the Astros. Game 6 tonight, possibly Game 7 tomorrow, but we'll break down Game 6 tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. It'll be Nate Eovaldi and Luis Garcia. We'll talk about it in 30 seconds on the Make the Money and Run podcast, sponsored by Britannia Arms of Cupertino. This is the Make the Money and Run podcast Friday baseball show. Charlie Eovaldi, your hosts here for this Friday, October 22nd, 2021. Check us out every Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Coming up after the baseball show, we'll be on with the Friday football show. We'll preview all of Week 7 of the NFL. We had one game last night. Big games this weekend in the NFL. A lot of top 25 teams that are underdogs against unranked teams on the road. We'll see if those are good plays or not. We'll get to that in the football, and we'll have our intern, Nick Robinson, as well too. But Make the Money and Run every Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter live. Download and subscribe. If you miss any of the live broadcasts, don't forget to check out our social media by 6 o'clock Eastern. Every day we'll have the latest news and our final selections for the afternoon and evening. Afternoon for us on the West Coast, evening and late games on the East Coast by 6 o'clock Eastern. And on the weekends, 11 a.m. for college football Saturday, noon Eastern for NFL Sunday, as well as the baseball playoffs. The NBA has started. The NHL has gone full swing now. So very interesting time right now. Actually, Tony did send us another note here. Let me find it here.
I've got it.
Today is the first day that all major sports are played on the same day. I'm sure, I can't believe that hasn't happened before. I don't doubt Tony, but I got to believe that it has to have happened before. Not that I doubt you, Tony, but the NHL, NFL, NBA, MLB all last night all took place, and it was a potpourri of sports for all the sports fans. So we're there to cover it.
And the sports books were happy.
Sports books were very happy, unless you had the Broncos or you had the Warriors last night. Then the sports books were not very happy based on that. That's a separate issue. We'll get to that in a little bit when we get to our later plays. And definitely don't forget to check us out by 6 Eastern for our plays for the evening. And again, on the weekends, 11 a.m. Saturday, noon on Sunday. All right, we talked about the Dodgers and the Braves. Dodgers face an elimination tomorrow. They'll go back with Max Scherzer for Game 6. On the same tagline, the Boston Red Sox. We buried the Astros, Charlie, after Game 3. Houston couldn't hit. Red Sox went into Houston, 2 grand slams on Saturday after barely losing on Friday in game 1. Blow them out on Saturday with the 2 grand slams by Martinez. Rafael Devers 8-0 after 2 innings on Saturday. Game 3, 9 runs in the first 3 innings with Eddie Rodriguez pitching on Monday night. And then Tuesday, 2-1 down. Greinke only goes an inning and 2/3. The bullpen comes in, shuts him down. Altuve ties the game up with a home run in the 8th inning, 2-2. And then the onslaught happened. Michael Brantley, the 3-run double after Castro got the game-winning, game-leading hit. And then Brantley expanded it to 6-2 with a 3-run double. And then they go on. The overbetters were happy. A 7-run ninth made it 9-2. And then now they've got the 11, and now they've got the game 6 coming back today. They win on Framber Valdez in game 5. The unicorn goes 8 innings, unheard of in Major League Baseball postseason. We're talking about 5 and 6 innings as a great night for a starting pitcher, but Framber Valdez went beyond that. Granted, the lead was a big lead, Charlie, but they take 2 out of 3 in Boston when we all had a fork in them. And here they are with a chance to go to the World Series with a win tonight for Luis Garcia, -110 against Boston's best starting pitcher, Nate Eovaldi, the total 9 in Houston tonight. Charlie, go.
Yeah, well, Houston, it's crazy. They're so talented. And again, this is where you come all the way back to, Vasu. I just have to keep coming back to the cheating scandal was so stupid. It was so stupid, because you look at the talent on this team that's there and what they can do, and you go, why did they ever do that? It was so dumb. And they're talented, and they play so well. It was put a fork in them. They're done. And then all of a sudden, okay, here they come. Here comes Altuve. Here comes Brantley, and the guys that you depend on, and they're coming. And one of the things, Vasu, that I thought about last night that I hadn't thought about, and I should have, is that if Houston wins, what a great scenario, no matter who they play, either the Braves or the Dodgers. Dusty Baker played for the Braves, and he also played for the Dodgers.
Right.
So it's a great setup that he's going to manage against one of the 2 teams that he played for as a major league player. So that's got just a little underlying scenario there that we'll want to watch going through. But yeah, I mean, are you going to bet against Houston at this point? I'm not. I'm with Mattress Max at this point. I mean, come on, let's go, baby. They're a team that just knows how to play, and we talked about it before. They're built for that stadium in Houston, so they've got an advantage there with that. So I think that Boston blew their opportunity. They're built for that state. They're built for Fenway, and they gave up that advantage. So now being on the road in Houston, I think they're in deep trouble.
No doubt about it. Vasu Vadaparty here with you on the Make the Money and Run podcast with Charlie O. Don't forget our Friday football show will be on afterwards. The Astros Red Sox go tonight. Game 6 tomorrow of the Dodgers and Braves. 110 for Garcia. Luis Garcia had a rough start in his last start, only went an inning. I think he even pulled him out for injury. And Nathan Eovaldi had a good start his last time out after pitching not so well in the wild card game. He was all right in the wild card game. Came out of the bullpen the other day. I don't know how much that's going to affect him. He was responsible for some of the runs that were scored in the 9th inning. I think Alex Cora may have overplayed his hand by putting him in the 9th inning to try and shut the Astros down and maybe win it in the bottom of the 9th, and it backfired on him. And now they're busy. And now they're all ready to go for Friday in terms of the series tonight. Garcia, Eovaldi, 110. What's your take on tonight's game? Dusty Baker. Oh, by the way, the Astros, they will be the home team if the Braves are in the World Series, and they will be the road team if the Dodgers win the series. By virtue of records, the Dodgers the second best record, the best record amongst the 4 teams. And then if it's Boston will be the road team no matter who they play in the World Series. They were the wild card team. They've got the worst record amongst the 4 teams left. So what are we looking at here, Charlie, for Houston and Boston tonight? Do we go to Game 7 tomorrow, or the Astros bats come out against Nathan Eovaldi, who is their best pitcher?
Well, you would think that things would tilt a little bit for Boston because they've got Eovaldi going. I mean, and that's the guy that they're going to want based on what he's done for them for the season. But you're absolutely right. Cora may have overplayed his hand throwing him in there late in that game the other night. Um, Frankly, Vasu, I'm kind of looking for the Astros to wrap it up tonight. I think they I think they know they've got him on the ropes. I think they're anxious to get it over with. I think they'd like to be able to rest, particularly rest their bullpen. Uh, they're hot. They're scoring runs. I think they wrap it up tonight.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. It'll be interesting to see how it goes tonight. 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox Sports 1 tonight. It'll be 8 o'clock tomorrow night if there's a Game 7 on Fox Sports. Somewhere in between college football, there's going to be a Game 7, maybe, if the Red Sox bats can awaken. What do you think about the Red Sox? I mean, Houston's pitching's not that great, and they proved that all year. I mean, they've got good guys, and the bullpen's been really good in this series. But as far as Boston, I mean, the bats have just gone cold, and I can't figure it out because everything that they were swinging at was line drive and barreled through Game 3, and then Game 4, Bogarts comes out in the first inning and hits the 2-run home run. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be another 8-1 or 9-1 game. And give credit to the Astros bullpen; they shut him down for 7 1/3 after Greinke got pulled after an inning and 2/3. But now this is 2 games in a row going into the road game tonight in Houston. What the heck is going to go on with the bats tonight for the Red Sox? Because Garcia's a strike thrower.
Yeah, Vasu, that's kind of baseball now. I mean, when you're so dependent on offense, and let's face it, that's sabermetrics baseball. They're really dependent on big run scoring. They're dependent on Powerball at this point. You live and die with it, and if it's not there for you, you die. And at this point, it's not there. And when it for the Red Sox, and when it goes away, you look terrible. And right now, it's not there, and that's not unusual. You play ball, it's streaky. When it's there, it's great. When it's not, it's ugly. And right now, it's ugly. And if you think about it, that's kind of been Boston's season. I mean, how many times did we say, "Well, the Red Sox are out of it"? I mean, we must have said that 20 times during the course of the season because they were such a Jekyll and Hyde team. So I'm not really surprised to see them score a lot and then all of a sudden go away. Because I think that's been their MO all season long. So I'm not surprised to see that. And again, with Garcia going tonight, that's no help for them to try to get healthy. And now it's an elimination game. They don't have that luxury of a 2 out of 3 series to get healthy. It's, get healthy tonight or go home.
When we come back on Monday, we'll have all the results for the ALCS and the NLCS. The World Series will start Wednesday next week at a site yet to be determined, depending on what's going on this weekend, with Game 6 tonight for the Astros Red Sox, Game 6 tomorrow night for the Dodgers and Braves, and then if necessary, Game 7s tomorrow in the American League, tomorrow night in the American League, and then Sunday night in the National League as well, too. All right, that's going to do it for the Friday Baseball Show. Vasu Vadaparty, Charlie O here, the Make the Money and Run podcast, sponsored by the Britannia Arms of Cupertino. Don't forget to check out our social media at 6 Eastern. And as soon as we get off the air right now, in about 5 minutes, we're going to come back with the Make the Money and Run podcast Friday Football Show, a preview of all of Week 7, all the NCAA action going on this weekend. We will see you then. For Charlie O, I'm Vasu Vadaparty. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy the baseball tonight, and we'll see you with the Friday Football Show in a couple of minutes. Take care, everybody.